What if I told you that God, yes, God, the all-powerful architect of cosmos and consciousness, can't simply obliterate Lucifer? Let that notion simmer, challenge your assumptions, perhaps even spark a bit of holy indignation. Because how can the Almighty, the one who spoke galaxies into swirling existence, be seemingly stymied by a fallen angel? Why does evil in its myriad insidious forms seem to have such enduring power? After millennia of pain wars, fueled by hatred, countless betrayals, and the immeasurable suffering unleashed by Satan, why hasn't God, in his infinite power and righteousness, simply ended it? Ended him? Isn't he the ultimate judge, a beacon of unwavering justice? Doesn't he see the devastation Lucifer continues to sow, and yet Lucifer remains? He doesn't merely exist in some dusty corner of the universe, he actively influences. He whispers doubts into unsuspecting ears. He crafts temptations tailored to our deepest desires. He roams this earth, seeking whom he may devour. Today, on this exploration into the heart of Bible mysteries, we're plunging headfirst into one of the most profoundly misunderstood and spiritually perplexing questions within the sacred texts. Why doesn't God just kill Lucifer? The answer isn't a simple theological soundbite. It's far more intricate, far more beautiful, and frankly, far more terrifying than you might imagine. Because at its core, it reveals something incredibly profound about God's unwavering justice, the very essence of his character, and the breathtaking scope of his ultimate plan for all of creation. If you've ever felt a surge of righteous anger at the sheer volume of evil in this world, if you've ever cried out, "Why doesn't God just stop it now?" then stay with me. Because by the end of this journey, you won't just understand the story of Lucifer. You'll gain a deeper, more intimate understanding of the very heart of God. If you're driven by a desire to peel back the layers of Scripture, to unearth forgotten truths, and to grapple with the spiritual mysteries that the Bible holds, then you've arrived at the right place. If you're ready to embark on this journey, please take a moment to tap that like button, subscribe to Bible Mysteries, and click the bell icon so you won't miss future deep dives into the inexhaustible wisdom of God's Word. To truly understand why God doesn't simply extinguish Lucifer, we must first confront a crucial truth. Lucifer wasn't created as a monster. He wasn't born a devil dripping with malice. He didn't slither into existence with horns and a pitchfork ready to corrupt. In fact, the Bible paints a drastically different picture, a portrait of breathtaking beauty and devastating potential. In Ezekiel 28:12-17, we encounter one of the most poetic and heartbreaking descriptions of Lucifer's original design. Listen to these words, let them resonate. "You were the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. You were in Eden, the garden of God. You were anointed as a guardian cherub, for so I ordained you. You were blameless in your ways, from the day you were created, till wickedness was found in you." Lucifer, once known as the morning star, was once the most dazzling of all the angels, a being of unparalleled light and grace. He stood in the very presence of God, bathed in divine glory. He held a position of immense responsibility and power, quite possibly the highest among all created beings. He was a conduit of God's love, a testament to his creative genius. Here's the emotional crux of the matter, the truth that forces us to grapple with profound questions. Lucifer wasn't inherently evil. He was created in love, painstakingly crafted in perfection. He was given every advantage, every opportunity to remain in harmony with his Creator. But here's the question that tears at the very fabric of our understanding. How does a being surrounded by such unadulterated divine glory consciously choose rebellion? And perhaps even more unsettling, if God made him perfect, how could he possibly fall at all? Let that question sink deep into your soul, because this isn't just a story about Lucifer's ancient choices. It's a profound exploration of the very nature of free will, the power of choice, and the delicate balance between divine sovereignty and human agency. Lucifer possessed the freedom to choose God, to embrace the light and the love that permeated his existence. But he also possessed the equally terrifying freedom to reject him, to turn his back on the source of all goodness. And tragically, he chose pride. Isaiah 14 offers us a chilling glimpse into the burgeoning darkness within his heart. I will ascend to the heavens. I will raise my throne above the stars of God. I will make myself like the Most High. Did you catch the chilling repetition? I will. This wasn't a moment of weakness, a lapse in judgment. This was a calculated declaration of war, a deliberate choice to usurp God's authority. Lucifer didn't fall because he was somehow flawed in his creation. He fell because he actively desired to be God. He craved the worship, the authority, the unadulterated glory that belongs solely to the divine. And that single prideful choice shattered the harmony of heaven, creating a ripple effect that continues to resonate throughout the universe. This is the root of everything, the foundation upon which the entire cosmic conflict is built. Lucifer's fall wasn't a mere glitch in God's otherwise perfect system. It was the inevitable cost of love itself. Because if love is to be truly real, truly meaningful, it must be freely chosen, freely given. God didn't create mindless robots programmed to blindly obey. He created beings capable of genuine, reciprocal love, beings who could choose to love him freely, passionately, and without coercion. But that freedom by its very nature also meant that they could choose not to. And Lucifer chose not to. Now here's a question that should be etched upon your heart as we continue. If God had immediately destroyed Lucifer the moment he first harbored rebellious thoughts, the instant he vocalized his prideful ambitions, would the rest of creation still truly trust God? Would they follow him out of genuine love and adoration, or out of a chilling, paralyzing fear of the consequences of disobedience? So here we stand. Lucifer has fallen from grace. He has consciously chosen pride and rebellion. He has amassed power and influence. Revelation 12 tells us that a third of the angels followed him like sparks, torn from a raging fire, seduced by his lies and promises of autonomy. And now, the obvious question. The question that echoes through the corridors of time, rises like a deafening clap of thunder. Why didn't God just end it right then and there? He could have obliterated Lucifer with a single word, a fleeting thought. Lucifer could have been erased from existence before his insidious lies ever reached the fertile ground of earth. So why didn't God? The answer is both profoundly divine and utterly devastating. And it begins with this undeniable truth. God is not merely powerful, he is unequivocally, eternally just. Let's unpack that statement, delve into its implications, and explore what it truly means for us both in this life and in the life to come. You see, the very moment Lucifer harbored the first seeds of rebellion, the instant he allowed pride to fester in his heart, he in essence launched a cosmic accusation against God himself. He said in his heart and through his actions, God isn't fair. His law is restrictive, a cage built to confine us. He demands unwavering obedience but offers no true freedom, no autonomy, no opportunity for self-determination. Lucifer wasn't just rebelling against God's authority. He was fundamentally attacking his character, challenging the very foundation of his divine nature. He was initiating a cosmic courtroom trial, placing God on trial before the entire universe, accusing him of tyranny, injustice, and a lack of compassion. And if God had immediately and summarily destroyed Lucifer at that moment, what message would that action have sent to the watching universe? Think of it in terms of earthly justice systems. If a government, for example, is publicly accused of widespread corruption, and the accuser suddenly and mysteriously disappears without a trace, what would the people believe? Would they suddenly trust the government more implicitly? Would they say, well, the accuser is gone, so clearly everything is above board? Absolutely not. They would quite rightly become even more suspicious, more convinced that the government was hiding something, that they were silencing dissent through fear and intimidation. Similarly, had God destroyed Lucifer on the spot, the entire universe, the unfallen angels, the heavenly hosts, and even the nascent worlds yet to be created would have been left with a lingering doubt. They might have served God, yes, but their service would have been born of fear, not of genuine love, admiration, and trust. So instead of immediately extinguishing Lucifer, God allowed his rebellion to unfold, to run its course, to reveal its ultimate consequences. Why? Because truth, genuine, unadulterated truth, doesn't fear investigation. It welcomes scrutiny. Because love, authentic and unconditional love, doesn't demand blind loyalty. It inspires willing devotion through understanding and empathy. Because God, in his infinite wisdom, knew that the only way to truly and irrevocably defeat Lucifer's insidious lies was to expose them to the light, to allow their inherent flaws and contradictions to be laid bare for all to see. So he allowed the controversy to continue to play out on a cosmic scale. Let that sink in for a moment. God's apparent silence wasn't a sign of weakness or indecision. It was a carefully calculated strategy, a demonstration of profound mercy, and an unwavering commitment to absolute justice. It was the long, arduous road that ultimately leads to unwavering trust. And maybe, just maybe, that's something you desperately need to hear in your own life right now, in the midst of your own personal struggles and challenges. Because sometimes God doesn't immediately crush the evil that surrounds you. He doesn't always rescue us from pain and suffering in the way that we expect or on the timeline that we desire. But maybe, just maybe, he's working on something far bigger, far more profound, something that transcends our limited understanding. He's showing the entire universe not just his incredible power, but also his unwavering goodness, his boundless compassion, his enduring faithfulness. And that's something that no lie, no deception, no manipulation from Lucifer can ultimately survive. Let me ask you a question that lies at the very heart of this cosmic conflict. Would you rather follow a God who rules through fear and intimidation, silencing all dissent and demanding blind obedience? Or would you rather follow a God who patiently allows the truth to shine through the darkness, who invites questions and challenges, who allows us to grapple with doubt and uncertainty, knowing that genuine faith is forged in the fires of honest inquiry? The answer to that question, that fundamental choice, lies at the very center of the great controversy between God and Satan, a controversy that continues to rage within our world and within our own hearts. Now imagine for a moment being cast out of heaven, banished from the very presence of God. Imagine falling not just physically through space, but spiritually and eternally because of your own unchecked pride. Lucifer, once a radiant being of light and beauty, now becomes Satan, the accuser, the adversary, the embodiment of all that is dark and corrupt. He's lost his place in heaven, his connection to the divine. His inherent beauty is twisted and corrupted by hatred and resentment. His heart is consumed by a burning desire for revenge, and now he needs a new target for his rage, a new outlet for his insatiable desire for destruction. So where does he go? To earth, of course, but not just to randomly destroy and wreak havoc upon the world. No, he zeroes in with laser-like precision on God's most cherished creation, humanity. Genesis tells us that God made man and woman in his own image. That's not just poetic language, a pretty turn of phrase. That's a statement of profound spiritual weight, a declaration of our inherent value and potential. We were made with reason, with emotion, with creativity, with the capacity for moral discernment. We were made to love, to choose, and to reflect God's character in a way that no other creation could. And that infuriated Lucifer, sending him into a spiral of jealous rage. Can you feel the weight of that realization? This former angel, once bathed in divine glory, now consumed by hatred, looks at Adam and Eve innocent and uncorrupted, glowing with the reflection of God's divine image. And he sees that they possess something that he has irrevocably lost: purity, connection, God's unwavering trust. And more than that, they were given something that Lucifer desperately craved: authority, dominion over the earth. Genesis 1:28 says that God blessed them and said to them, "Be fruitful and increase in number, fill the earth and subdue it. Rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, and over every living creature that moves on the ground." In other words, earth was theirs, their home, their inheritance, a gift from a loving creator. So what did Lucifer do? He didn't attack with brute force, with a show of overwhelming power. He attacked with the weapon he knew best: deception, subtle manipulation, and the planting of seeds of doubt. He slithered into the garden not with violence, but with a seemingly innocuous question. Did God really say? That's all it took. A single seed of doubt, a hint of suspicion, a whisper of rebellion. And in that fateful moment when Adam and Eve reached out, took the forbidden fruit, and consciously chose Satan's word over God's, they surrendered their authority, their dominion, their rightful place as stewards of the earth. Lucifer didn't steal the earth through force. We, in our naivete and misplaced trust, willingly gave it to him. That's why Jesus would later call Satan the prince of this world, because the throne that was meant for humanity was tragically handed over to a liar, a deceiver, a manipulator. Now pause for a moment. Breathe that in. Let the full weight of that realization settle upon you, because this part of the story isn't just ancient history, a tale from a bygone era. It's our present reality. We live in a fallen world, a world filled with suffering and injustice, precisely because a war that began in heaven spilled over onto earth, and we, humanity, became unwilling participants on the battlefield. But why didn't God stop it right there? Why didn't he intervene the moment Adam and Eve bit into the fruit, the instant they disobeyed his direct command? Because the plan of redemption, The ultimate solution to the problem of sin was already in motion, set in place before the very foundations of the world were laid. Revelation 13:8 speaks of Jesus as the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world, which means that God wasn't caught off guard by Adam and Eve's transgression. He didn't improvise a last-minute solution. He had a comprehensive, carefully orchestrated plan to win back what was lost, to redeem humanity, and to ultimately restore harmony to the entire cosmos. So while Lucifer took dominion through deceit and manipulation, God would reclaim it through sacrifice, through an act of unparalleled love and selflessness. And that's where the story takes its most dramatic turn, because now the central question isn't just why didn't God kill Lucifer? It becomes even more profound, more challenging, more intensely personal. Why would God allow Lucifer's rebellion to go so far to cause so much pain and suffering that he himself would have to die to fix it? If you've ever stood under the shadow of a cross gazing up at the suffering Savior and wondered why it had to be this way, why such a brutal sacrifice was necessary, then this chapter is specifically for you. Because the cross wasn't just about saving you as an individual. It was about settling a cosmic war that started long before you were born, a war that continues to shape your life and the world around you. Let's go back to that cosmic courtroom, back to the scene of the original accusation. Lucifer, now irrevocably transformed into Satan, has leveled his charges against God. God's not fair. God's law is too strict, an unnecessary burden on his creation. He demands unwavering loyalty, but he's not willing to sacrifice anything for those he created. And for thousands of years, those accusations echoed in the minds of angels and humans alike, creating doubt, fostering resentment, and undermining trust in God's character. Until one day God himself stepped onto the battlefield, taking on human form and entering into the very heart of the conflict. Let this truth fully penetrate your understanding. The one who created Lucifer, the one Lucifer betrayed, the one Satan had waged war against for eons, that God became a man born into poverty and weakness, subject to the same limitations and vulnerabilities as the rest of humanity. He walked among us, he healed the sick, he loved the outcast, he forgave the repentant, and then, in an act of ultimate self-sacrifice, he willingly went to the cross. Think about this. Jesus didn't die because he had to, because he was forced into it by circumstances beyond his control. He died because he consciously, deliberately chose to. He embraced suffering and death as the ultimate expression of his love for humanity and as the definitive answer to Satan's accusations. In that moment on the cross, that agonizing sacrifice, that was God's ultimate, irrefutable answer to Lucifer. Not an answer of destruction and annihilation, but an answer of demonstration of unwavering love and of selfless sacrifice. You say I'm unjust, God declared through his actions. But you say I demand too much from my creation, that I am unwilling to suffer alongside them. Then I will step into their pain. I will bear their burdens, and I will take upon myself the full weight of their sin. And Satan could do nothing to stop it. In fact, in his blindness and arrogance, he unwittingly played right into God's plan, orchestrating the very events that would ultimately lead to his own defeat. Colossians 2:15 says, "And having disarmed the powers and authorities, he made a public spectacle of them, triumphing over them by the cross." And so when Jesus hung on the cross, bleeding, suffocating, mocked by the very ones he came to save, the universe watched in stunned silence. Every angel, every principality, every realm saw the unthinkable unfold, the God of creation choosing suffering over annihilation, love over domination, sacrifice over violence. And in that moment, every accusation Satan had hurled for millennia collapsed beneath the crushing weight of truth. For how could he claim God was selfish when God gave everything? How could he insist God rules by force when God allowed himself to be killed by his own creation? How could he whisper that God demands obedience without love when God demonstrated love unto death? This is why God did not simply destroy Lucifer, because destruction could never prove what love must reveal, because fear could never establish what truth must illuminate, because the universe needed to see the contrast, not just hear it. Satan's rebellion needed time to expose its full horror. God's goodness needed time to shine through the darkest night. And when Jesus declared, "It is finished," it wasn't a sigh of defeat. It was the thunderous verdict of the cosmic trial. Justice had spoken. Love had won. And Satan was left with no defense, only time before the sentence is carried out. So friends, what have we uncovered today? We've journeyed through the heart of a cosmic mystery, exploring why a God of infinite power doesn't simply eliminate evil. And the answer, as we've seen, isn't about a lack of power, but an abundance of love justice, and a commitment to showing the entire universe the true nature of his character. God allowed Lucifer's rebellion to unfold, to ultimately reveal its emptiness and destructive nature, while he himself demonstrated ultimate love and sacrifice through Jesus on the cross. It's a story of immense proportions and one that should deeply resonate within each of us. What are your thoughts? What questions does this exploration spark in your mind? I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Did any particular point resonate with you? Is there anything you'd like to explore further? Let's continue this conversation together. And if this journey into the heart of Bible mysteries has resonated with you, if you're hungry for more deep dives into the scriptures, then please consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that bell icon. We have so much more to explore together, and I wouldn't want you to miss a single revelation. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next video.